Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and welcome to New Life Live. Really glad that you're with us today. Call us 1-800-229-3000. Milan Yerkovich is joining me with Dr. Alice Benton. Really glad that to get to do this with them. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, I'm so well, fellas. And Steve, I've been wanting to thank you for Kirby McCook and the Jesus Chronicles. I have been reading it every night with my children. We laugh and we're learning a lot together. It's a delightful book, but it's a meaty book too, at a level that kids can receive it. It's awesome.
Well, thank you. You know, it won Book of the Year. It won in juvenile nonfiction, the gold medallion. So very happy about that. Marcus Brotherton is the co-author of that. And yeah, thank you for that. It was really a lot of fun to put that together. Milan, you doing all right today? It's always good to see you here in the studio.
And it's good to be with you and Alice. Always a pleasure and an honor. So thanks for having us here today.
Well, let's go right to our calls. Don't mess around today. Jessica from Washington, D.C. listens on WAVA. Hi, Jessica. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. How can we help you? We want to.
Well, so I just want to understand. My husband and I had a really rough 5 years. Just not working well at all. I despised just the basic fiber of him. And I know that he's been praying for our relationship, and it was like within a day's time, I went from just despising him to being like madly back in love and head over heels for him. So I know it was divine, and I know that Jesus wants me to be in this marriage with him. But in that time, I have been unfaithful, and I've thanked Jesus for the change in my heart, and I've repented for what I've done. I don't know if am I also required by Jesus, I suppose, to tell my husband, or can I keep it between me and Jesus? I don't really know what to do.
Well, I'm really glad.
What has changed, you know?
Sure. I'm really glad you called, and I just go back to that old golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. If the shoe was on his foot, would you, or your foot, would you want to be told? Would you want to know? Do you think it'd be your right to know what your husband was involved with?
Well, when you say, yeah, I mean, my right, yes. But I feel like the way that this relationship, like that we've shifted so fast from in a marriage that wasn't going to last to kind of like newlyweds. Mm-hmm. I feel like if I knew that it could probably set me back again to the place we just took so long to come from.
Yeah.
And Jessica, you're right. The information will destabilize the new calm that you have been able to achieve with your husband. It will. But it will also be necessary to do that so that you can reach a place of true health. You brought a poison into the marriage by your infidelity. You're cleaning that up. But he needs to know, because your behavior does affect him. Even if he's ignorant to it, right, it still affects him. It also allows the enemy to maintain a foothold in your household until you bring a full confession to your husband. And it's through the destabilization, through the pain of the healing process, that you will truly come to a healthier marriage afterwards.
And in these situations where you think it could destabilize things, you know, I think it's always better if you're doing that with a therapist, you know, where somebody's helping you share, because it will be most likely quite devastating to him. We'll take a break, come right back for more of New Life Live. Glad you're with us today.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife. Within 2 hours, you could have opened a book and showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, October 10th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. We are answering one of the age-old questions. If I repent to God, is that enough? Do I have to reveal it to my husband? And Milan has something that he's going to share. And Milan, what are your thoughts here?
Hey, Jessica. Thanks for calling our show.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Hey, Jessica, have you ever, prior to your relationship with your husband, experienced relationships as you described this one, where you're all in, totally in love, and then some switch is flipped, and then you just despise a situation, person, or individual? Have you ever experienced that before?
No, I haven't. And it's really, it makes me very uncertain. I'm very insecure because I don't understand the change in my heart, how it went so fast. So it makes me very nervous.
Well, it should, because it is, but that's not bad. I would always just view this cautiously. Being a newlywed, or saying I feel like a newlywed, does not mean that history is gone.
Right.
It's important to repair that history and ask what happened and why did I loathe you so? I used a different word than you did, but despise was your word.
Yeah.
And why did I have such strong feelings, and why did I see you with such dark eyes? And for the two of you to begin to not just try to take off on new ice, because it's thin ice, just all of a sudden quickly be feeling as though we're like newlyweds. I would slow down, and this would be something to say, is this worth fighting for? And it sounds like it is, because you have some sort of a change. And it definitely can be the Lord. And I would just pay attention to that. But this is a chance to rebuild and say what happened, because if something like this can happen, it could happen again, and you don't want that to happen either. So I would slow down and really have great conversations, which would, as Steve and Alice said, I think this is something you need to bring to him, because it really is a breaking of a covenant between two people. And I would say, I would tell him, even though I thought I was justified and I didn't feel feelings of love the way I would have wanted, and I could tell myself it was okay to do these things while I was married, but I want to tell Jesus and I want to tell you, and then see what happens. The possibility is that it may destabilize temporarily, but it can provide a great basis for rebuilding. And that's what happens when you rebuild a building. You take it all the way down to the foundation and you start over again.
But you also decide when to do that, because the timing of it is very important. So you having some therapy under your belt, some good recovery work first to show him in your behavior that you're becoming different, and deciding cautiously, probably with a therapist, when it would be best and in what kind of setting it would be best to bring that truth to him will also help safeguard the outcome of bringing the truth to him. But I want you to consider, Jessica, if you don't tell him and he finds out some other way, it is so destructive. Whereas if you bring it to him, you have a lot of power over how the information comes to him.
That's a great point, Alice.
One other thought when you reveal something like this to someone, this happened to me actually, and the person says to you, I did this, and I want you to know that's why I've been going to those meetings for 6 months, or that's why I've been in therapy for 6 weeks. If you're doing something about it to make sure it never happens again, it really does, in so many cases, make such a difference in how the person hears the whole confession. But when people come to Every Man's Battle, we help them figure out how to go back and do a full disclosure, because now, we're on equal footing. Everybody knows everything. And I'm really glad that you called, and I'm going to send you Every Woman's Battle. Got that book here for you, and I hope and pray that it does something really great. I wish he could come to Every Man's Battle and you could get involved in a group yourself. Maybe that would never, ever happen again. All right, let's go to, how about we talk with Larry from Cincinnati, listens on Sirius XM satellite radio. Hi, Larry. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good. Pretty good. Yep. Thanks for calling us.
Good. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me.
Yeah. What's going on?
Well, I guess about a little over a month ago, my girlfriend of 5 years she started to pull away from me, and I think it all stemmed from a misunderstanding that she went out with her friends, and she was texting me, and I wasn't getting the text because I was having issues with my phone. And actually, I got a new phone over, within that week. But she seemed to think that I was purposely ignoring her and purposely ignoring her text, but I wasn't. And then, it's just like a series of other things. She had a really bad relationship with her ex. From what I'm, told, from what I understand, it was pretty abusive. And so, and I can totally understand why she feels this. And then, like within that time frame, I asked her to go out and look at wedding rings, and it was just kind of she expressed interest, but it wasn't like I was expecting a little bit more, like, oh, yeah, definitely. And so,
okay. So what's the question for us then? How could we help you?
I just don't know. I just don't really know what to do. She asked for alone time, and so I've been trying to give that to her, but then this past Friday, I talked to her, and she just looked very depressed. So much so that because I've seen her high and low, and it just concerned me that I called her mom just to make sure that she's okay. Her mom called her, and I guess her mom was just really concerned. And my girlfriend, maybe she took it a different way, like I was trying to manipulate her in some shape or form. But up to that point, she still had, her picture of us on Facebook, and then she changed it. And now I'm just kind of like at a loss. I really don't know what to do.
And all of this is over you not being available when she texted you while she's with her friends.
Well, I think that's one thing. And then, like, the marriage, because, we've been together for 5 years.
Yeah.
And so, and when I was telling the screener, my annulment came through. And so, I was happy that, when that came through, suggested going out looking at wedding rings. But, there's just like a series of things that happen.
Well, can you share with me? Can you share with me that annulment thing? What was that about?
Oh, that I was previously married. I'm Catholic, and so my marriage to my previous wife was declared invalid because it wasn't truly a sacramental marriage. Because I was not Catholic at the time that when I got married to my ex-wife. Okay,
so and then one more question. I want to hear Milan and Alice what they're thinking. 5 years is too long for somebody to be dating unless they're in high school. So is it all about the annulment? How long ago did you and your other wife break up?
The divorce was in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've been together going on about 5 years now. But, yeah, for me, it's like, I know I realized I was dragging my feet, but looking back on it, the reason I was dragging my feet was for the first time I was really happy. And, I was scared because I didn't want because I had one person tell me that the annulment wouldn't go through. Then I had another person tell me that it would.
Okay. All right.
So I was just kind of like, oh, man, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. All right. Let's hear from Milan first here. Milan, what are you thinking when you hear all of this? Quite complicated.
Well, Larry, this is a good problem because you really get to know someone when they're stressed. And you want to be able to see people in all the cycles of their life and all their seasons. And somehow your girlfriend is pulling away from you. And this would be a time to go to a competent counselor who could talk about that, where the two of you are finding one person is wanting to pull away. And we don't know why she wants to pull away. We don't know if this is a part of her basic imprints of how she came out of her family of origin, that when she gets scared, when she becomes anxious, when she becomes worried, that she wants to pull away. Who knows? But you guys have to have great conversations about this. What I'm hearing right now is a lot of I think, or I interpret, or this behavior, not sure why, all these different kinds of hesitancies. We want to move into certainty before we even discuss a wedding. And it doesn't feel to me as though that the two of you have done enough work for her to even understand why you've been hesitant about this annulment thing. So I think you really need to become slow down, invite her into some couples work where the two of you can be with somebody that can help you have great conversations and really hear one another's hearts before you even think of saying I do.
Alice, you have a thought here?
Okay.
Larry, I'm going to try to be real upfront with you because I care deeply about what happens to you in this relationship. It is confusing listening to you. Yeah. I am confused. My head feels very muddled listening to you. And I would bet you feel muddled. And I think that your girlfriend does too. And I was glad to hear you say you drag your feet. And I think that might be true about you in a couple areas of your life. I'm going to guess you struggle to have real tough, upfront conversations. I think you you don't bring very crucial, difficult points up quickly. You waited quite a while to mention the annulment, and you mentioned it kind of offhanded. Now, this is just one conversation, but I suspect that what we're experiencing with you is an example of what it's like being in relationship with you. So although I may be wrong, I want you to take a very deep look at dragging your feet, avoiding tough conversations, and leaving out crucial information when you're addressing these problems with your girlfriend. Hearing that you went to her mother about her depression, I think perhaps you avoid some of those tough talks that have to be had directly with her. So consider and take to prayer my experience of you in this call.
All right, I'm glad.
And then with the annulment, she knew, initially on, that we were working on that together. So that wasn't something that I withheld from her.
You left it out with us though for quite some time. So
that's because the screener told me not to actually mention that.
Okay.
Because it may muddle all of this. Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Now we get it. So I think that when we look at the reality of a situation and it isn't looking pretty, it may be because there is an inability for the problem to be corrected. It led to the 5 years, that problem. It led to her moving away over stress or distress or you not being available. And you really want to look at and consider is this a good relationship? Now, the dilemma is you've invested 5 years here. And you started the investment pretty close to after the breakup of the other marriage. So maybe alone time is good time for both of you guys. And if you can't trust her in alone time now, then, I don't think that's going to be much different after you would marry. I'm really glad you called. I'm going to send you this little book, Is This the One? It's going to give you some great insight here. And I hope and pray that you end up with a wonderful person, and her also. But it is confusing, a lot of complications. It might be a little hint here. Maybe it's time for me to give it a second look, a better look, a deeper look than I have. We'll take a break. We'll come right back for more of New Life Live.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Conquer Worry and Anxiety by Dr. Daniel Amen, Healing is a Choice by Steve Arterburn, and Forgiving What You'll Never Forget and Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, both by Dr. Dave Stu. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Really glad you're with us here today. 1-800-229-3000 if you want to join us on the next program. You know, September is National Recovery Month. And if you're not in recovery, what a great month to start recovery. And whether you're in recovery or not, the 12 Gifts of Life Recovery is a great little book to talk to you about different things that come about working on your character. We believe everybody needs a growth plan. You get that growth plan, you're going to see some things rise to the top, some benefits, some really rewards, I would say. And you can get that book with a gift of any amount by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. All right, let's go to Antoine from Silver Springs. I believe that's Maryland. WAVA is the station. Hi there. How are you?
How you doing?
Good. How can we help today?
I have a question. I got a mom that's kind of controlling, and she wants to spend more time with the baby. Like, she call every day, but I try to put boundaries there because, you know, she kind of triggered me. But how I grew up was she was kind of controlling, and, you know, I couldn't really. It's something I do. She always had issues with, and it came like when it came with money issues, like, you know, helping her with the house or something like that. I like, Mom, I only got a little bit of money. I'll give you like $300, $200. She be wanting like $800, and she'll use the Bible saying you need to honor your mother or father. But one of the issues is with with the baby. 'Cause I got a 6-month baby, and she wants to see the baby. I try to put a boundaries to, because it started affecting out my wife.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, I say, look, I don't mind you seeing the baby. I got my own family, and so I had a point when I kept my distance from my family for a while, and then they started calling me like, Answer, why you keeping it distant? I say, I just want my space. It's for my own mental health. And they like, you can't withhold the baby from her.
Okay. So what is the question that we might be able to help you with, given all of that?
What boundary should I put on my mother? And say if she don't listen to my boundaries, what should I do after it?
Yeah. Well, let's start with Milan here. What do you think? I mean, you got a grandmother wants to see the baby, but too much interfering here and stress.
Well, Antoine, it's a great question, and it's a common question. This isn't just a one-time situation. This is very common, and for a grandmother or grandfather to want to see their child a lot, at some level, if it's too much, your mother isn't picking up the social cues of what you and your wife want. And the Bible says, for this cause a man shall leave his father and mother, shall connect with his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So there's a creation of a new home, and you're absolutely right. You have to be able to have an honest conversation with your mom and say, Mom, we're trying to have our own home, and we need a certain amount of space. That's a good word to use. And so trying to see the baby every day is too much. And so let's work out an agreement where we can see each other once a week, maybe for half a day or something along those lines. But you're absolutely right. You need to be able to say to your mom, we need some space. And we love that you want to see the baby, and we hope that you also want to see us as well. But we only want to see one another so often. We did get married, and so that's important for your mom to hear from you.
Yeah, it would be so sad, you see, if you didn't do this with the guidelines that both you and your wife set. And if you don't do that, then you end up your wife saying, look, I can't handle it anymore, and I don't want her to see the baby at all. So you don't want that. Alice, you have a thought here before we go?
Antoine, you have had a real tough time with your mom, and I think she even uses some spiritual manipulation to try to get more of what she wants from you, whether or not you can give it to her. You got to honor me, so you have to give me what I'm asking for. That's hard. And so your focus does need to be, as your question indicated, on what you will do when she crosses your boundaries yet again, because that sounds like that's her pattern. And so she will call and she'll ask for more than you're able to give. So you and your wife decide together, what can you live with? And then you let your mom know, I can talk on the phone once or twice a week. We can have a visit, like Milan was saying. And then you stick to that, Antoine, knowing that she will not. It will upset her, and she'll want more, and she'll probably throw more scripture at you. So stay loving, stay calm, and stick to what limited availability you can offer your mom, so that when she keeps calling, you answer that once or twice a week, not every single day. You decide how much you expose yourself to your mom.
And there are people that if they were in your situation, they would just simply say, Mom, it's too much. We love you. They wouldn't have to ask. They would just have that settled. So it makes me wonder if you've fully left, if you've leaved and cleaved, as Milan's saying. If you're putting too much weight on what your mom wants versus what you and your wife deserve as a couple. So I would really look at that. All of us have a job to do to get over Mom. If she wasn't a very good one, we have to get over that. If she was amazing, we have to get over that too. Or we'll be comparing our wife to Why aren't you as amazing as Mommy? So all of us have to do some work there. I hope you'll do yours. We'll be back after this.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop will be held online Saturday, October 24th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan Yerkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship, and then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. Larry Sonnenberg is in the studio, but I just want to be sure that we're giving the best information here. Alice, you want to finish up anything with Antoine? I want to be sure that, well, you know, like a lot of people don't know, how do you set that boundary? How do you do it in a loving way? How do you make that communication work the best way it could?
I think the wording is very important. Antoine had said putting a boundary on my mother, but really when we set boundaries, we're setting a boundary with a person and we're controlling our actions in that arrangement because we can't control what the other person does with our boundaries. So if they're going to walk all over our expectation, then we decide how much we have to pull back to protect the limited resources that we have. So we set a boundary with someone and we control ourselves and our actions in that arrangement with the other person.
Yeah, and I just think it's really important that you partner with your wife here and that she knows that you have levied and have cleaved to her, and if not, you do the work you need to do to make that
Steve, it's
separate.
left and cleft. I mean, that's a past tense.
Yeah, but that's not any fun. All right, 1-800-229-3000. Let's go to Mary, Boston, Massachusetts. Hey, Mary, how are you today? What's going on in your life?
Well, hello, Steve and Milan and Alice. What a blessing to speak with you guys.
Hi, Mary.
Hi. I am calling about our precious daughter who is in her early 30s. She is single. She has always been independent. Even as a toddler, when her father said, I'm going to take her out for a drive, she went downstairs, took out the car seat from one side of the car, took it around to the other, opened up the door, put it in, and attached it. She's been that way from the get-go. And it's wonderful how she has managed her life till now.
So what's the problem?
We're on one coast. She's on the other. She's single. There's no family out there. She called me on Easter evening in tears saying that she was pregnant. And I am so grateful that she chose, grudgingly at first, to keep the baby.
Yeah.
And not, I was overjoyed. And I've done my best to support her and love her and encourage her. Anyway, what I need help with is having a conversation with her. I feel the need to express to her in some way that I feel she has stopped trusting God and has started taking things into her own hands.
Okay, and is that you're going to do that long distance from Boston, or what? How are you going to do that?
Well, she's coming east in October, early in about a few weeks. I could do it then. It might be better long distance so she can think about it and deal with her reaction. And
Mary, is that your question to us, whether you should say this or not? What is your question for us?
My question is, first of all, should I have this conversation, and if so, how to do it? I am concerned because she is...
Okay, Mary, that's enough. My answer is no. You should never tell somebody they're somehow not trusting God or that there is a problem with their relationship with God. You don't know enough about what's going on with her to make because what you're doing is you're deducing or insinuating her motives, intentions, or why something has happened. And so I think that would be a dangerous start. It would not be a good place. I think if we could remember this, Mary, if I ask 10 questions for every statement I make, that's a much better balance.
I ask too many questions.
No,
according to her and our son.
Well, okay, but I would rather ask questions that are not incriminating, that aren't trying to paint them into a corner. I would ask questions.
Right. I don't want to do that.
Right. And I would say I would want to ask questions more along the lines of honey, how do you feel about this? And
well honor her. Say, I'm so grateful you chose to keep the baby. Tell me how you came to that conclusion.
And or what kind of support you want from mom and dad.
There you go.
And those kinds of things, as opposed to an accusational statement.
Yeah.
I would just be careful about that.
And Mary, you could preface it with what you already know now about yourself. I ask too many questions. I know that I do that, and it bothers you. I do have a few questions, and I wonder if you would let me, but you can stop me at any point. Is that all right if I continue? That gives your daughter some power, and it doesn't work. What happens when you do that?
No, it does. It does work.
Oh, it does work. Okay.
It does.
Okay. You
either tell me I can't do that now, or go ahead, Mom.
Okay. You might also make some statements of wondering how she's doing. So it might be, I bet you're scared. I bet you're not sure what to do, and I wonder how this leaves you in your relationship with God. And if you want to talk with me about it, I'd like to be a listener to you.
All right. I'm really, that's so good. Yeah, I'm glad that you called us. Yeah, go ahead. Ask one other thing.
Can I ask another question about this?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
She wants the father of the baby to buy a house. They live a couple hours apart, and she wants him to buy a house near her so they can move in together. And that really concerns her father and me. And
well, I just have to say this. If you have no influence on her, then what you think or feel isn't going to matter. And so what I would do is I would try to develop my relationship, deepen my connection with her, because she's doing a very brave, courageous thing. And then once you feel like I have connected and we do have a deeper connection, then you can decide whether it would do any good to tell her what you think. For instance, if she was a drug addict, you probably wouldn't need to tell her, we don't think it's a good idea that you're a drug addict, right?
Right.
Well, there are certain things like this where she probably has no doubt that you're not happy about her moving in with a guy that she's not married to. Well, you don't have to say it every time you're with her to be a good Christian. A lot of people think that they have to say something out loud like that to be doing their quote-unquote job, and I just don't believe that that's true.
Right. I agree.
Okay. I'm glad that you called, and I'm going to send you How We Love. I think that could really give you some insight into how all this is shaking out. Let's talk to Mr. Insight. Larry Sonnenberg's in the studio. Larry, what do you have for us today?
Well, I have a letter from Laura. Laura said, since my divorce, you have helped me through the whys of how it could have happened. You have also helped me know it's okay to swallow your pride and open up to the people at my church, to let them know how I'm feeling deep inside, and they have allowed me to be vulnerable and not condemn me. I've been afraid in the past to allow myself to share my problems and concerns with anyone because I was fed the lie that you don't share your problems by my now ex-husband. He always said we should be able to take care of our own problems. I've grown so much in the past year because of this program. Thank you so much.
I love that.
I love that too. And folks, that's why we come to you for support. We want more people like Laura to start to share, be vulnerable, talk to their church members, other friends, help one another. And we can continue to do what we're doing provided we get the support from you.
Mm-hmm.
So we need your help, and we need it today. COVID has been a strain. We've had some blessing in the middle of it, but our general giving is down almost $300,000 to this day for this year. So whatever help you can give, it will be blessed. We'll steward it well and want to thank you for it.
And as you hear Larry say that, ask God if he's nudging you to give today, because if God is and you follow through with that, then God will bless you too.
Thank you.
Amen. Yeah. Thank you, Larry.
Right.
So often we know the right thing to do, and it's just hard for us to go ahead and do it. If you've got the willingness and the courage, 1-800-NEW-LIFE, thank you for helping us help others.
Giving will change you as well. I just want to encourage folks. Giving changes you. So try it.
It sure does. It's a transformational shift in kind of the way you view the world and material things. I hope you'll do it. We'll be back.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, October 10th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Growth Has No Boundaries by Drs. John Townsend and Henry Cloud, Take Your Life Back by Steve Arterburn and Dr. Dave Stoop, and the Emotional Freedom Workbook. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Really glad you're with us. Let's go over here to, how about we talk with Nancy from Orlando, Florida, listens on WTLN. Nancy, you're on. How are you?
Oh, hi there. I really love you guys and appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
You guys are so smart. You guys are so smart. You need to run for presidency. But not until next election, because I want Trump, right? Anyway.
Okay. All right. How can we help today?
My daughter, my granddaughter, I'm concerned about her because she doesn't get to visit her mother that much. I take her twice a week. And so my daughter's been dating lately. And my daughter's always had a lot on her plate. She's got a set of twins, but she's always distracted with the kids or her twins or with her boyfriend. So I make sure that my granddaughter gets her twice a week. But she's been dating a lot lately. And my granddaughter hasn't been able to see her. So I feel bad about my granddaughter, and I want to know what can I tell her to make her feel that she's not, I don't want her to feel rejected.
And
it's very sad.
Your granddaughter doesn't live with her mother?
No, she lives with her dad, and I actually live 35 miles away from them, but now my granddaughter only lives 5 miles from her mother, but I drive all the way over there, so just to make sure she gets to see her mom twice a week.
Why doesn't her mother have custody of her daughter?
Well, there hasn't been a divorce yet, but my daughter says I know my daughter too. She has a very low tolerance for life, and she's real stressed all the time, and not all the time, but she's kind of stressful and irritable person, and low tolerance, and she's got too much on her plate, gets distracted, and she doesn't seem to make a big effort to try to do what's right, kind of lazy. I don't know.
So, does your granddaughter know that this is not something that has anything to do with her, but it's the character of her mother? I mean, this is just something that would have happened no matter who was her daughter.
Yeah. I'm always praying and thinking, what can I tell my granddaughter? And I say stuff like, I know Mama's crabby, and it's not about you. I heard my daughter say one time, I can't go somewhere because of Liana. So I looked in the back and I said, Liana, she only means that she can't. She wants to move, but she's not going to move far away because she wants to live near you. So I know.
Well, that doesn't sound like that was. That doesn't sound like that was really true, though, right?
She's always saying things that I'm always finding myself saying, "Oh, please don't say that."
And you're wanting your granddaughter to spend more time around someone like that. Let's see what Milan and first, and then we'll go to Alice. What they think about this.
Well, that was one of my questions. Is a child okay without their mother? I mean, isn't that horrible? I mean, I can't.
Nancy, this is a really difficult situation that your granddaughter's in, as well as you that you're in, because your daughter, as you've already said, is not doing well in this thing called life. She doesn't manage life well. She's under a lot of stress. She's anxious. She just isn't functioning well. And so and I'm going to say this, it's going to sound a bit harsh, but she's really not being a good mom right now. She doesn't know how to be a good mom right now. And so I wouldn't wouldn't try to make excuses. I think your daughter, your granddaughter, your 9-year-old granddaughter, she's going to feel what she's going to feel. I would just validate those feelings instead of trying to talk her out of them or re-explain them. Do you miss your mom? You know, I bet it's hard to be around your mom sometimes. Do you really want to go 2 times a week, that I'm taking you 2 times a week, or would you rather not? Maybe you're trying to keep something going that your daughter and granddaughter may not necessarily want. And your granddaughter will feel rejected by her. Period.
Because she's being rejected
because
by
she's
her.
Your daughter is rejecting her. She's not taking the initiative.
Yeah.
You're having to take your granddaughter to see her, and I don't know that she's that welcoming. So I would have to say you can't fully protect her. All you can do is process her feelings with her and be that loving, empathetic, nurturing female in her life, and allow yourself to be that.
And Nancy, your heart is certainly in the right place with what you're trying to do for your granddaughter. And I'm sure your daughter's breaking your heart too, as well as her daughter's heart. But your manipulation of the truth to try to protect your granddaughter doesn't serve her. I actually think it confuses her. So calling the rejection what it is, wow, what mom said was very hard, wasn't it? That was not kind of mom, that was harsh. And I think she says a lot of things to you like that, doesn't she? Inviting your daughter to talk about it and telling her it's okay to be angry, it's okay to be sad, it's okay that you feel rejected because I see what's happening to you, I see how your mom treats you. Giving her those invitations will help her to do the grief work she'll probably need to do throughout a good portion of her life because of the poor choices her mother makes.
The worst thing isn't for someone to not love someone. The worst thing is for someone to not love someone and tell them, I love you, while they're doing unloving things. Or they're not loving and then someone says, oh, your mom really loves you. Well, she's not acting like it. So I think some really tough conversations need to be had here with your daughter. And you might want to have that conversation end whenever you want to get some help at whatever it is, being a mom or whatever. I will help you. I will financially support that, because right now you're not able to put a daughter that is your daughter, her needs, above your desires. And when somebody puts their wants above a child's needs, it's immature, it's not adult, there's no character there. So she needs some help, and you could help her with that. And the other thing is, rather than drive her over to her mother's, I think it might be better you just kept her yourself and loved on her gave her that affection and healthy exposure to her, rather than taking her over to your daughter who says really mean things to this girl. I mean, saying over the phone. Oh, good. Yeah. All right. So I'm glad you called.
I have plans tomorrow too. I'm kind of having a hard time myself with understanding change. I mean, I know people change and life changes, but she used to be real sweet and it's so abrupt. And I don't know.
But she's not. People do change, and sometimes for the better, sometimes not. All the more reason to say to her sometime, you've made some changes, and I remember this, and I remember that. I'd like to help you. I bet it doesn't feel good to be in this position, or whatever you could do. Just let her know that you're there. I'm glad your granddaughter has you. I'm going to send you How We Love Our Kids. I hope that that's going to help with your granddaughter. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help, or you can help us. It's the same number. I'll see you at 5 o'clock on Facebook Live. And I'll see you every Thursday, 11 a.m. for Life Recovery Today. See you next time.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.